Welcome to The Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. Today we will make a theoretical revision to a position we've held for a long time. That is, incumbents in Africa do not lose elections unless they are incompetent. Well, that is now an outdated maxim. Incumbents in Africa do lose elections, incompetent or not. And the shocking losses of the one-term president in Ghana, including the military strongman in Gambia, are cases in point. This broadcast, therefore, is meant to serve notice to the incumbent. Be afraid. Be very afraid of NASA. Or should you be?
The day is Tuesday, 19th September 2017. The NASA candidate, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is about to be sworn in as president. Huge crowds have gathered at Uhuru Park to witness a repeat of the 2002 election, where, you remember, the Super Alliance under NARC defeated a young Uhuru Kenyatta under Kanu. In the meantime, outgoing President Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta has conceded defeat following the dismissal of his petition against Raila Odinga's victory by the Supreme Court. And like in Ghana, the Gambia, South Korea, Italy, and the US, the country is still in shock. The question everyone is asking is this: how come they never saw it coming?
The day is 20th September 2017. After being sworn in, Raila Odinga has moved to State House with his extended family, and in a separate function, the first one of its kind, Ida Odinga has insisted on being sworn in as First Lady. President Odinga has obliged, and the private ceremony is ongoing. Back at the Pangani Big Building of JAB, former President Kenyatta is holding an exit meeting. And because he has lost a presidential election before, he looks okay. In fact, he seems relieved. Besides, the law does not ban him from running in 2022 and 2027, and he is still young. In the meantime, former Deputy President William Ruto has not spoken for 3 days. He is still flabbergasted. He needs prayers. And the question we pose is this: what could they have done differently?
If the wave of change hits Kenya, Raila will not win. Uhuru will lose. And Uhuru will have worked very hard to lose. But if he loses, it will be for two reasons. One is because he emphasized on things over relationships. Like Kibaki in 2007, who revived the economy but collapsed the country, Uhuru will have given us things, but we will have failed to heal the national wounds. Two, Uhuru's presidency has been reduced to a monopoly of two politicians. It is a Ferrari presidency, in my view, with only 2 seats. But NASA is proposing a Matatu presidency where pickpockets and sundry are all welcome. This is attractive to many people. We must remember that revolutions come in common vehicles. They come in small installments, little by little. And the last person to receive the memo is always the king. He gets to know about the revolution when it knocks on his door and it is too late. And Uhuru must avoid that eventuality, in my view.
Now we will reverse the order. The day is Tuesday, 19th September 2017, and Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta is about to be sworn in after a bruising re-election. He has won all right, but the country is deeply divided. In fact, there is tension, and as expected, Raila has claimed that the election has been stolen. He's even taken us back to 1 year ago, where he claimed that the election would be rigged. In the meantime, his tallying center in Germany or wherever it's located has already released results claiming that he has won. And the problem here is that Uhuru has beaten Raila with more than 800,000 votes, but he has crossed the 50% plus one marginally. Raila is not contesting the 800,000 votes. He's contesting the 8,000 votes that thrust Uhuru past the 50% plus one mark. He says that this small number of votes was stuffed into ballot boxes in Tharaka Nithi. He wants a runoff at 0 option.
The day is 20th September 2017. Uhuru is back at State House, and the dinosaurs in NASA are devastated. In fact, some of them are considering ending their useless lives. Suicide is better for them than political cold in old age. They're in a bad place. However, these NASA dinosaurs have a window of political opportunity that is closing by the minute. They have to get into government, even if it is through the back door, and they have to do this very quickly.
To be sworn in as president in September 2017, Uhuru needs to win decisively. But currently, and with the NASA wave, I have my doubts that a decisive victory is possible. But failure to win decisively has two consequences. One, it can lead to a runoff. And a runoff against NASA could just turn the tide against Uhuru Kenyatta. Two, if Uhuru wins marginally in the first round or in the runoff, Raila will force him into a coalition government, almost a zero option. What is my point here? NASA has only two options: to be in government through the front door or to be in government through the back door.
Tyranny was given to Jubilee as a gift from God against the ICC. It was given as a generous break from the pain of the 2007 violence. But to use it for re-election is to annoy the gods. This is why Jubilee re-election cannot rely on the gods. And this is because the gods are fed up. Jubilee re-election must rely on tact. And there is no better tact than mirror imaging what NASA is doing. In order to create an inclusive government, Jubilee should copy everything NASA is doing. But to win this election, they should perfect the NASA sloppy ideas.
There's an ancient Chinese story about two fathers. One was called Qi and the other Meng. The first father, Qi, had two sons. One loved knowledge and learning, and the other loved war. The first son read and became very clever and was appointed a tutor in the king's palace. The second son studied war and he was made a general in the king's army. When the second father, Meng, saw the success of the first father's children, he sent his own two sons to school to follow their example. Mr. Meng's first son also read and became very clever. However, his cleverness threatened the king and he was castrated to dehumanize his cleverness. Meanwhile, his second son studied war and he became a military genius. However, the king felt threatened and had both his legs broken so that he would not rise up and overthrow him. In the end, both fathers, Qi and Meng, did exactly the same thing. But one was successful and one failed. This story is for both NASA and JP. You're both repeating an old trick to gain power. The question is, who will win?
In politics, you do not repeat a trick twice. Otherwise, you get castrated or your legs broken, like the boys in this story. In other words, Uhuru cannot rely on the tyranny of numbers to win this election. That is, relying on a trick and repeating it second time. But to win, Uhuru must do radical things. For starters, he should abandon the two-seater Ferrari presidency for the Matatu presidency proposed by NASA. This is a presidency that brought us peace in 2007. Uhuru should therefore propose the expansion of government from the current monopoly of 2 to a fellowship of 5 with the Prime Minister. And he should do so before NASA does it, because this is a plan they have. This accommodation of others, in my view, will heal our national wounds. And the person who will embrace it is a person who will win. More so because healing our national wounds is more powerful and fundamental than a good development record.